back to the channel where you get to watch me build a Minimax 1100r with a modification for half VW engine. I wonder how many times I've said that. I think it's probably a lot, but anyway, what I'm working on today is before I put the urethane on here, well, first we got this all taken care of down here, and this worked out great. So the front stop is epoxied in up there. This repair here is all good, and so we have the new opening all figured out. This little block is actually going to be for my my mount, my camera mount. Man, the lens is dirty again. All right, so what I'll do is when I flip the wing over, then I will actually get this epoxied in place, and then it will just drill through with a 5/16 hole, and then this fits perfectly in there. It's 1/4-20 because everything camera is 1/4-20, and I'll show you later on how I intend to basically just using a 1/4-20 stud, a couple jam nuts, and that's how we'll be a couple of jam lock nuts, and that's how we'll be putting the camera on the plane. So okay, all right, so we're gonna slip the tank in here again. Then I'm going to get a couple pieces of foam here. So what I'm going to do is just temporarily stick a couple of small squares of foam on the wood here, and then that'll give me something to push up against. Go. All right. Now I can go around to the back side, and I can see what kind of a distance we have back here. An 1 5/8" on this side. And I'm going to just double check this one. I expect these to be about the same. That's the same, 1 5/8". All right, so what I'm going to do is take my board, and I'm going to take a 1 5/8". Yeah, I'll take an 1 5/8" kind of rip out the board, and then I'll just, in the back, I don't really need a full piece all the way across, because really the middle part is really not providing a tremendous amount of support. Although if I go all the way across, I'll hit the bottom seam. You know what, I will go all the way across. So I'll make a piece that fits in there and goes all the way across at an 1 5/8" wide, And I'll take some measurements. Let's get this out of here. So basically, we're going to make something that's about 14 and 5/8 by inch and 5/8. 14 and 5/8 by inch and 5/8 will get us close, and then all we have to do is when we epoxy that in, we'll just it'll just get clamped to the spar here, and it'll be a. I didn't want you don't want that board pushing on the plywood itself. You want to make sure that it's actually attached to the spar, so it's pushing on the whole assembly back there. And so yeah, that's the next thing. Let me go 14 5/8 inch and 5/8 wide, and then I'll be back. All right, so I got my piece in there. Now what I'll have to do is I'll have to relieve it for the 16th ply there. So just pretty much from here over, I'll cut that out, and then we'll see how that works here. All right, so that fit doesn't allow for any cushion to be in there, so I am tight against the front right there with my little bit of foam in there, and on the back side we are tight against the welds, so I'm going to try and take about a 1/16 of an inch off of that, maybe an 1/8 of an inch, and then I can use some of that softer 1/4 inch foam and compress it. So yeah, and I think that'll work better. So let me go get an 1/8 of an inch off of that, so it's actually should be by a half instead of 5/8. And then while we're doing that, while we're doing that, I'm actually going to return this. I'll come about 1/4 inch or so outside where we are here. Actually, maybe I'll come a little bit further, maybe a 1/2 inch, and then we'll just return it to here. Right here. So we'll have an angle. We'll just cut this corner off. Just smooth that out a little bit. The other side is actually right up against kind of where the corner is, so we don't have to worry about that one. And yeah, so let's get an 1/8 of an inch taken off of that, and then at the same time, let me go. So we can do this. I'm just going to relieve the entire section. So I'm going to come from here, except on the bottom, of course. Just make a line under here. For this section, we'll need to cut that back 1/16 of an inch. So we'll do that. We'll take the 1/8 of an inch off first, then I'll relieve that 1/16 of an inch so we sit flat down in here and we get good adhesion to everything, and then we can get that epoxied in. And once that's epoxied in, we are finally ready to seal this wing up. So yeah, man. It seems like you think, oh, I'm just gonna go in and do some urethane today. Oh no, wait, there are 10 other things that have to happen before I can do that. And I mean, that happens all the time, so it's not a shock to me or bothers me because it's just the way it is. So, but anyway, let me go get that taken care of. And I think at the same time I did rip another piece. I'll probably rip that as well because I know my dimensions are all really close. So yeah, all right. Okay, so I got that just rounded off that corner there and relieved the 1/16 of an inch down here. So let's see how she fits in here. That's gonna work. That's gonna work much better because now we've got some room to put some of that foam in here for cushioning. So I've got basically, well, if I put that kind of 1/4 inch foam on the front and the back, then once I compress it, I have a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch here. So yeah, either way, that works great. So moving on. All right, so I'm going to get my oil pressure and my oil temperature senders in place, and I am using Loctite 567 for that purpose. And the one thing you want to do when you're putting this on is you just want to make sure that you're about a thread back from the edge, because you don't want to end up with any of it on the inside. So I just put a nice bead around there. Like so, and then we're ready to go. Let me grab a wrench. And then when you get it on there, you get a really nice bead kind of around the outside there, which get a good seal. All right, now we'll work on this one back here. All right, so I've just tipped the engine forward, so
I've got it elevated here. So we give that another try. It was more oil coming out than I expected, so let's get this clean out the threads a little bit. Okay. All right, so that one's in. Oil temperature, and up on top, oil pressure. So it was kind of important, especially the one underneath. This one maybe not as important. It can get to it easily on top of the engine, but that one down there for sure, it was necessary to get that one in place prior to getting this engine set in place. So yeah, let me get it set back up here, and then I've got my radio tray outside. I've painted it, half of it. I got to flip it over to paint the other half, and then once that's dry, I'll actually be able to get that installed, and then I'll keep moving forward on that process, and I'll figure out where to locate the headset jacks. So, okay. All right, so I got my radio tray all finished here, and I was just in the process of cutting the foam to go in here. So starting with the back here, so to cut that down just a little bit. And then to the sides, figure out what that width is. 1/4" doesn't have any adhesive on it, so just going to use some of my fabric adhesive to put that one in. Okay, so now I got the holes cleaned out. Now we can show you how this goes. Slipped it in there, fits nice and snug on the sides, just like we want it. And then, be cool if I was actually showing you what I'm doing. It's got a nice snug fit on the side, and then we just drop it in, and we'll find our holes. On the back, I've got to get some longer screws. Those screws that are in there are really not quite good enough, but hey, this is exceptional. I just couldn't be happier. This works out great on the bottom, and I think the whole thing is just going to be a really nice, tidy package. So, all right. Alright, so that's all the time I have for today, but hey, we got a few things done. So I've got this block epoxied in there, and so that'll be ready the next time I come. We got this block made here. I didn't get it epoxied in, but I'm going to do that right here before I leave. Pull the tank out, epoxy that in, and then that'll be in good shape. And then you saw me get the radio. I got this painted, and I got my clip on the bottom, and I've got to get some M3 by probably 6mm length, and then I'll be able to attach the radio and then get it attached to the sidewall here. Yeah, so, and then we also got the fuel pressure, oil pressure. We got the oil pressure sender, and we got the oil temperature sender, both in place. So the engine will be ready to put on when we get to that point. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the video. And if you're not a subscriber and if you're new here, let me start over. If you're new here and you're not a subscriber, hey, I invite you to subscribe and follow along. And it's getting more exciting all the time, because we're getting really close to putting the covering on these wings, and then we'll be able to continue the paint, and then paint some roundels, and yeah, we just got all kind of things like that going on. So next time, what I'll do is I'll mark out where the antenna is going to go. I got it right here, mounted to my 16th inch plywood, and that's going to go out here on my right wing. And I'm going to just put it out here. Let's figure out where we want to go here. So it'll just get epoxied to the ribs, like so. I'll epoxy it there, and here, and over here, and out here at the end. So it'll just be spanned across there, and then we'll just run the cable. We'll run the cable from there, just right down, kind of attach it. We'll zip tie it to these members here, all the way in, and the cable will run just in front of the tank right here, and it'll come out right here, right here. Helps if I show you. And then what'll be great about that is that's basically an inch behind where the where this is right here. So that puts it coming out basically right about here, which is perfect because the radio is right here. So it's going to come out, go right into the top of the radio. Be super clean, super simple. Little extra cable to get out there, but by going out that far, I'm away from all the metal. So it's just wood out there. So that's good. All right. Hey, I'll catch you later.